going to make it. Elsie knew only that she needed to keep her grip strong and tight. She needed to hold that wire as fiercely as she could. She knew only not to let go. She was in a vacuum, the wind engulfing and beating against her at the same time. Hold. There was no other thought. Hold. Hearn brought the plane down as gently as he could, the pressure of the wind easing a bit as they approached landing. Elsie swung her right leg into the cockpit and was able to pull herself back in, still holding on to the wire. The plane rolled to a stop, and Hearn reached back for her, scrambling out of his seat and helping her onto the wing. "Let go," he said, her hands still clenched around the wire. "Elsie, let go now." "Yes," she agreed, her face red and chafed, but her eyes wide and bright. "Yes, I know, but I'm not sure if I can." Hearn lifted the fingers up one by one, uncurling them, releasing the lifeline of the wire, which he saw had cut through her gloves and straight to the bone. She saw what he saw, and as he helped her into the hangar with only one of her Oxfords missing, he patted her quickly on the shoulder and said, "I bet you'll never ask me to do that again." Elsie looked at him, her hands held out, palms up and smeared with blood. "I'll loop her any time," she said, smiling. "Just get me a stronger safety belt." The third and favorite daughter of James Lyle Mackay, or as of recently, Lord Inchcape as he was pronounced by the king, Elsie Mackay reminded her father far too much of himself. At a glance, she was a lady, slight in stature, daughter of a peer, a privileged aristocrat wearing gowns of gold and beaded silk, a cohort of Princess Mary, the only daughter of George V. But under the surface of that thin veneer, Lord Inchcape had seen the will of his daughter evolve right before his eyes, her boldness take hold. She was not like her older sisters, Margaret and Janet, who knew and understood their duties. She was most unlike Effie, his youngest daughter, who was kind to the point of meekness and rarely put herself ahead of anyone or anything. Elsie had failed at nothing. Whatever she set her sights to, she was almost always a quick, blooming success. He was always proud of her for that, but it was also what terrified him the most. Whatever his daughter desired, wanted, pined for, all she had to do was take a step toward it. It was delivered. While Elsie was bold, her choices were even bolder. He had learned that lesson in the hardest way. As the chairman to Peninsular and Oriental Steam Navigation Company and the director of the National Provincial Bank, he recognized a tremendous and dangerous facet of his daughter. She was unafraid, a trait he nearly despised himself for giving her. From the broad window in his study at Seymour Place, he saw her silver rolls flash by, the tires crunching on the pea gravel of the drive, Tim's head out the window as the breeze blew his ears back. Oddly, she was steering the car with her palms, as her hands appeared to be half-gloved. He shook his head and laughed. She was always experimenting with some new fashion. He remembered when she sliced her hair from tresses into a bob. He never had the heart to tell her that from behind she resembled a boy. This one looked more senseless than the others. Half gloves. It wasn't until they had seated for dinner that he saw the trend he had been laughing at was actually bandages that rendered his daughter's hands almost useless. "Now, before you say anything, Father," she said the moment she saw his mouth drop as Effie and Mother braced themselves for the scolding. "It's not as bad as it seems. Just 2 cuts. They will heal quickly." "Exactly how bad are they?" he demanded. "Your hands are entirely bandaged." "Not all useless." Elsie grinned slightly as she wiggled the tops of her fingers that were visible above the wrappings. "Let me ask if this injury was a result of your reckless hobby. I warned you about